And do we bring stuff in here? There's so much time that elapses.
I didn't know yours. This lady has spoken here. Maybe she's
I want to listen to her.
yeah. I have a feeling she's not going to go because it's just a collection of enjoy her.
London walks the wall.
So Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Venice, or as we love to call it, UCOV. I'm Reverend Amy Petrie Shaw, and I'm so glad you are here on this wet, soggy morning. No matter where you've come from, you're welcome here. Whoever you are, we hope that you find here thoughts that challenge you, a welcome that invites you into community, and people to accompany you as you journey. I'd like to ask if there's anybody who's here for the first time and who would like to introduce yourself, please raise a hand and we'll get you a microphone. All right, we've got one. Where'd my mic go? Oh, Matt's got it.
I do have a teacher's voice. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Over here, Matt.
Hi, I'm Betsy Gathercole, my husband Mark. We're from the Grand Rapids, Michigan area, and we're here visiting for 4 months, so we're real snowbirds.
Okay, well, welcome to Venice. Anybody else or anybody returning from time away? All right, I think we'll go on. I have just a few announcements. Meatless Monday is on February 5th. Want to remind everybody they're eating, so we will not be covering our faces. There won't be masking when they're eating. So as long as you're comfy with that, come on down. Meatless Monday, it's going to be delicious. They would like to start a little early so that they can carpool to see Walk to Respect at 7 p.m. over at NAR Hall at the UCC on Shamrock. So if you can, get there just a little early. This Friday, February 9th in Waters Hall and on Zoom at 10:30 a.m. and will be the Social Justice Alliance, and at 1:30 the Right to Read Steering Committee. There will be a trivia and pizza party on Friday, February 16th at 6 p.m. in Waters Hall. Form your own team or come yourself and join one there. It's $10 a head, BYOB. There's a sign-up sheet out on the lanai. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everyday Spiritual Practice by Scott Anderson. There's going to be a 6-week book talk on that. Sign up with Kathy Avery. Kathy is also teaching Build Your Own Theology, the 8-week course that many of you have taken. It'll be Tuesdays at 2 in the sanctuary, starting February 13th through April 2nd. Even if you've already taken it, you may want to take it again. This is Kathy's first time teaching it, so come sign up and help her out to get in the groove on teaching this. Community Outreach will be collecting diapers, wipes, and formula for Second Chance Last Opportunity on February 11 and 18. We have the box out on lanai, so please help fill it. The library program returns March 12th at 1 p.m. Come find out what happens in the library when books are banned. That'll be a great program. We are asking as a favor, this is not a requirement, but if you have COVID, if you get active COVID, please drop me a line. We will not be spreading this information all over, but it will let us do contact tracing if somebody really gets sick. So if you have active COVID and you know you've been around people, give me a call, drop me an email. We're trying to set up a self-reporting box on the website. We'll let you know how that works out, but we're just trying to keep track, so especially so that like we can let the choir know, hey, half the choir has COVID, please cancel this week. So that's what the information will be used for. We will not be reporting your name, but if half of finance committee gets sick, we're going to call the head of finance committee and say, hey, about half your committee is ill, so you might want to cancel. And again, this is totally voluntary. You're not required to do it, but we're asking if you would. Right now, it's just a phone call or an email to me. Any other announcement stuff is on the back of your order of service. Please take a read while you're doodling. And I want to start out with our chalice lighting. These are words by Octavia Butler, who is the focus of our service today. Octavia writes, in order to rise from its own ashes, a phoenix first must burn. We light our chalice to remind us now and always that we can rise. Oh, and I do have one more announcement. The board, it is the first Sunday of the month, so the board will be around after the service. If you have questions, concerns, or things you want to take up with the board, please stay after the service. They will be here. We are canceling talk back today because Kathy has a sick child. Right now, as most of you are aware, our political and educational landscape in America is strange, sometimes a little frightening. Texas has begun to rumble about seceding from the United States. The leading Republican candidate has been accused of multiple crimes and convicted of others. A vigilante group called God's Army. They called for 2,000 vehicles, they got 20. But they are headed for the border to defend it from invasion. People have loudly claimed that the world is flat, that birds do not exist, and that COVID is no more dangerous than a mild cold. At such a time as this, Octavia Butler's words in The Parable of the Talents, which was written in 1998, they really seem pretty eerily prophetic. She wrote, "Choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be led by a coward is to be controlled by all that a coward fears. To be led by a fool is to be led by the opportunist who control the fool. To be led by a thief is to offer up your most precious treasures to be stolen. To be led by a liar is to ask to be lied to. To be led by a tyrant is to sell yourself and all those you love into slavery." When I read those for the first time, I got chills. She wrote, "Beware, ignorance protects itself. Ignorance promotes suspicion. Suspicion engenders fear. Fear quails, irrational and blind, or fear looms, defiant and closed. Blind, closed, suspicious, afraid. Ignorance protects itself, and protected ignorance grows." So welcome to this community where we value wisdom and knowledge and acceptance rather than willful ignorance, fear, and suspicion. Come and let us worship together, and let's talk about this. Our gathering hymn this morning is number 188, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are," and we're just going to sing it through 3 times. So please rise, embody your spirit as you are willing and able for number 188, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are."
Come, whoever you are,
This is our children's chapel time when we tell any children here with us and any who are watching along at home exactly what it is the grown-ups are going to be talking about later. And mostly, even though we're talking specifically about Octavia Butler today, mostly what we are talking about today is the idea that you better pay attention to who's leading you. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, a whole bunch of kids ran together in our neighborhood. Was it like that for any of you? Yes. You always knew the kids were all in one particular field or at one particular house or two. And there was always the kid that got everybody else in trouble. I may or may not have been that kid. But there's always the kid that's got that dumb idea, hey, let's go swing over the creek into the poison ivy. Now, I wasn't the kid who stole, but there's always the one kid that says, hey, let's nick the gum. Or, hey, let's go ride our skateboards in the middle of that busy parking lot. There's always one kid that does the dumb thing, right? And if you were a smart child, you went, I think my mom's calling me, I gotta go. But if you weren't brave enough, or if you were just interested in seeing what happened, you were one of the folks swinging over the ravine into the poison ivy. And you learned very quickly that listening to the dumb, scary kid was probably the wrong thing to do because you ended up having your mom yell at you, or with a bad case of poison ivy, or with your grandma telling you to march back to that store right now and take that gum back. But you learned quick to think for yourself, at least a little. And don't follow what the scary, goofy kid is telling you to do if it doesn't sound right to you. If it sounds like a bad, dangerous idea, maybe go do something else. So today we're talking to all the grown-ups about the fact that it's the same as adults. We have to pay attention to who our leaders are and what they're telling us to do, and are they smart enough, good enough, paying enough attention, honest enough, moral enough for us to listen. This goes for every kind of leader, whether it's a minister up here on the stage, a politician, a teacher, doesn't matter. If somebody's telling you what you should be doing, make sure that they're not driving a clown car the other 5 days of the week. So that's what us grown-ups are talking about today. And you all are going to help sing the Reeb Children's Benediction. You're allowed to stay, Kathy. Our offering words today are offered with levity because, as always, giving should never hurt. A UU minister realized that due to one unplanned expenditure after another, the church's budget would be about $10,000 short for the year. And she worried, and her day was made worse when she found out her pianist was going to be off for a week. With 10 minutes to go until the start of the service, the substitute pianist arrived and asked about the music for the service. Well, the hymns are listed in the order of service, but you'll just have to wing it for the offertory. After I asked them for a lot of money, the minister said. Well, the offertory came and the minister explained the financial situation, took a deep breath, and said, so for anyone wishing to give more than $500 today, please stand up right now. Thinking quickly and without missing a beat, the substitute pianist began to play the national anthem. I almost slipped Lisa a 20 and said, come on, go for it. The morning offering will now be given and joyfully received. Thank you so much for these gifts and for absolutely everything that you do for the life and the work of this community. Because the church is not the building, but the people. And we say this every week, but every week it's true. We are a community of human hands and human hearts, and we come together to share our laughter and our tears. And this is our time of sharing our joys and our concerns. You can raise a hand, and someone will bring you a mic. During any other part of the service, you can come up before or during and light a candle for yourself, but during Joys and Concerns, I will light for you. Please share information only with permission. And I have a nice little joy to share as we get started. We took a vote a couple weeks ago on whether or not we wanted to support the potential amendment to be considered at GA to make the 7 principles part of the preamble. I am happy to tell you it passed by an absolute landslide. So, the church that has proposed it has asked for a slight extension. They are still trying to get a few more churches to sign on, and they've been granted that extension. So we will let you know as soon as we know if it's going to make it on the floor at GA, but we are one of the 15 congregations that will be sponsoring that. So, and John, did you have something to share today?
Yes.
I'm going to let John share first because this is another fun one.
Yeah, really, on behalf of the Right to Read Festival, we really have something to celebrate, okay? Because of the initiative of this young man who said, who learned about a UU-based fundraising called Faithify. He initiated it, he championed it. Steve Simon wrote some words for it that helped gather more donations. But he set a target of $5,000. And if we didn't get to that level, we wouldn't get that money. Well, I am happy to say, because of the champion, and because of so many of you who have donated, we reached that. So we will have that money to help support the festival. We still need more, by the way.
So other joys and concerns.
Hi, Jim Willett here. 13 years ago, Lisa had a aortic heart valve replaced, open heart surgery. It was a big deal. Well, that valve was wearing out. So about 10 days ago, she had a new one installed. And it went well. She's right here. But they use a new technique I'd like to tell you about. It's called TAVR, T-A-V-R. They don't have to open you up. They go through an artery in the groin, and they actually install the heart valve through that artery. She was in surgery for less than an hour. She was home the very next day. And it's a kind of miracle you can believe it. So it's our joy, obviously.
Hi, my name's Lorraine. I'm just going to tell you that my mother had tongue surgery for cancer on Tuesday up at Moffitt. And I just want to tell everyone, if you don't get an answer the first, second, third time, when you go to the doctor, keep going.
Hi, I'm Kendra Muntz, and a dear friend, Carol Jacob, who some of you met, because she's one of the 5 charter members still remaining from the 39. Her beloved dog, that's been her companion, alone now, she's alone, for 10 years, died suddenly in January. And she called me last night. She's been in shock and going crazy, she said. And the dog was put to sleep on January 14th. She said she can't stand living alone. So she's called every rescue place, and they say, oh, you need to get an older dog. She says, I don't want an older dog. I don't want to go through this again. and so she has researched. She's an incredible researcher, by the way. And she researched, and she's found a beautiful puppy. And I can't even remember, it has some fancy name, but I'm gonna go visit it this afternoon. She said she picked it up yesterday and called me last night and was absolutely ecstatic. So if you have any good thoughts or card or something to send her, I'm sure she would appreciate it. Carol Jacob.
Hi, I'm Donna Jewett. I'm part of the Green Sanctuary, and Matt and Kim, by the way, have been helping with the composting. And I just want to say that we have star fruit that is falling off the tree. I'm bringing some for refreshments today. There is all kinds of greens, things that people can help themselves to. This is an edible garden that you are welcome to join and welcome to help yourself. There's herbs there. There's all kinds of things. And sometime I'd like to have a tour so people can learn what you can grow in your own backyard. Thank you.
I lit one spare candle for my dad, who is in the hospital with some broken vertebrae in his spine. Wish him luck. He's having surgery on Monday. And he's already announced he's going home Monday evening because he's got things to do. So wish the stubborn coot good luck. May the love of this community hold all who need love and concern. And may the light of our community shine on the broken places of the world. May we never look away when we are needed. May those who are grieving be comforted and those who are tired find rest. And may the broken places be healed. May those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant. Our first reading this morning is from Octavia Butler's book, The Parable of the Sower. If you haven't read it yet, what I can say is run, don't walk, and get yourself a copy. In The Parable of the Sower, she writes, the child in each of us knows paradise. Paradise is home. Home as it was or home as it should have been. Paradise is one's own place and one's own people, one's own world, knowing and known, perhaps even loving and loved. Yet every child is cast from paradise into growth and new community and into vast, ongoing change. I absolutely love that. It took me a while to find just the perfect piece for meditation because so much of what she says is so well written. But these words are from the parable of the trickster. There is nothing new under the sun, but there are new suns. Holding these words in mind, please join me in 1 minute of silent thought or meditation or prayer. follow that. Our second reading today is from 5 Things Octavia E. Butler Can Teach Us in a Time of COVID from Tamisha E. Tyler for Culture Magazine. This is a longer article, but I took the meat of it. Tyler writes, Butler's work is prophetic because it speaks truth, because it reads the writing on the wall. Butler's words in 1993 serve as a warning of where we could end up if we don't change. And, well, can any of us be surprised at this point? What's special about Butler's work is that it doesn't leave us without hope. It's a sobering hope, but it's hope nonetheless. And this is because those who are fans of Butler know that there is no such thing as easy answers or happily ever afters. Instead, she invites us into ways of living, into possibilities of existence, when all other options seem to fail. And so Tyler gives some bullet points and then talks about them. This is from Earthseed. Change is inevitable. Adapt. All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. It's from Earthseed, the Books of the Living. These words frame the entirety of the religion Earthseed, a community formed by a character named Lauren after she realizes she can no longer buy into the Christian Baptist faith of her father. Throughout the series, change becomes the constant, driving force that propels Lauren and the rest of the characters together as they move north toward opportunity and safety. Change is coming, and in fact it is here. Do not resist it, embrace it, and adapt. The second was, it's not about you. This is also from Earthseed. Beware, at war or at peace, more people die of unenlightened self-interest than of any other disease. That hit me hard when I thought about things like the earth is flat and birds aren't real, things you hear all over. She writes, one thing that change does is to help us understand what is important in life. These sobering words offer a warning to those who feel invincible when it comes to change or disease. Your self-interest won't save you and in fact may kill someone else, even someone you love. Your actions affect others whether you intend to or not. Heed these words or others may suffer the consequences. Really hit me given the anti-vax movement. She writes 3, be kind. Kindness eases change. That's from Earthseed. And Tyler says the only way to ease change is through kindness. In a world where hate, fear, and violence are encouraged as a way to maintain power and oppression, kindness becomes one of our most powerful political tools. How about that? Kindness becomes one of our most powerful tools. Be kind to one another, especially when they don't expect you to. Butler writes, partnership is life. Partnership is giving, taking, learning, teaching, offering the greatest possible benefit while doing the least possible harm. Partnership is mutualistic symbiosis. Partnership is life. Any entity, any process that cannot or should not be resisted or avoided must somehow be partnered. Wow, what an idea. Partner one another, partner diverse communities, partner life, partner your world that is your home, partner God. Only in partnership can we thrive and grow and change. Only in partnership can we live. It's all from Earthseed. And Ms. Tyler writes, anything, if there is anything we need more of at this time, it's partnership. Butler reminds us we cannot do this alone. We must partner one another if we are to live, because partnership is life. In Earthseed, Octavia Butler says, we can, each of us, do the impossible, as long as we can convince ourselves it has been done before. And this author writes, throughout history, humankind has had to go through unspeakable hardship. Whether war, famine, genocide, or natural disaster, we found a way to survive. And each time it took more than we thought we had to give. We came together, we spoke truth to power, we took care of one another. Each time we knew our world as we knew it changed. And this time is no different. We can do the impossible. Our centering hymn today goes with that thought. It's number 6, just as long as I have breath. So I ask you to rise in body or spirit as you are willing and join in singing verses 1 through 3 of Just as Long as I Have Breath. Hepzibah Anderson writes, it's campaign season in the U.S., and a charismatic dark horse is running with the slogan, Make America Great Again. According to his opponent, he's a demagogue, a rabble-rouser, a hypocrite. He accuses without grounds whole groups of people of being rapists and drug dealers. How much of this he actually believes and how much he spouts just because he knows the value of dividing in order to conquer and rule is at once debatable and increasingly beside the point. Now, you all sitting here may think, wow, that sounds so familiar. Surely she is not preaching politics from the pulpit. The character in question is Octavia Butler's Texas Senator, Andrew Steele Jarrett, the fictional presidential candidate who storms to victory in this 1998 science fiction novel. The book is The Parable of the Talents, and again, I advise you to read it. Butler writes that Jarrett insists on being a throwback to some earlier simple time. Now does not suit him. Religious tolerance does not suit him. The current state of the country does not suit him. He wants to take us all back to some magical time when everyone believed in the same God, worshiped in the same way, and understood that their safety in the universe depended on completing the same religious rituals and stomping anyone who was different. There was never such a time in this country. But these days, when more than half the people in the country can't read at all, history is just one more vast unknown to them, Butler says. Jarrett's supporters have been known now and then to form mobs and burn people at the stake for being witches. Witches in 2032. Jarrett's people have been known to beat or drive out Unitarians, for goodness sake. Jarrett condemns the burnings, but does so in such mild language that his people are free to hear what they want to hear. And as for the beatings, the tarrings and featherings, the destruction of heathen houses of devil worship, he has a simple answer: join us. Help us make America great again. This novel is set in 2032. In The New Yorker, Abby Aguirre writes, Parable of the Talents begins in 2032, and by then, various forms of indentured servitude and slavery are common. The oppression of women has become extreme. People are addicted, not only to designer drugs, but also to dream masks, which generate virtual fantasies as guided dreams. When I read that, I took off my VR helmet and put it away. News comes in the form of discs or news bullets, which purport to tell us all we need to know in flashy pictures and quick, witty verbal 1-2 punches. 25 or 30 words are supposed to be enough in a news bullet to explain either a war or an unusual set of Christmas lights. Octavia Butler was a prophet. Now, not the kind who wears long robes and sandals and speaks about some kind of divine being. She didn't believe in that kind of divine being. What she believed in was science. She believed in asking what if and following that question wherever it led her. She believed in the human ability to make change. And she wrote not to discourage the heart, but to call out the best in our ability to cause better outcomes. She believed in cautionary tales and in rational hope. Octavia Butler believed that we could grow up as a species, but we had to work at it because no one was going to hand it to us. Now that sounds very Unitarian Universalist to me. According to Christian Coleman, in her work, you won't find the militant brand of atheism endorsed by those like Richard Dawkins and the late Christopher Hitchens or Sam Harris. Butler's atheism was never a rabid middle finger flipped at organized religion. She critiqued fundamentalism in the Parable of the Talents by dramatizing the rise of a neo-fascist Christian movement that attacks Lauren's community. But she never demonized faith, and that's important. Instead, her empathetic brand of secularism calls for tolerance, long-term collaboration, and the embrace of multiculturalism. Her eyes may not have been watching God, but they were definitely watching the stars. Octavia Butler was what we would call an Afrofuturist, a womanist, a black queer science fiction writer who died in 2006 at the age of 58 after she had a fall due to a stroke. She started writing at 10, and by her death had won multiple Hugo and Nebula Awards, the first science fiction writer awarded a MacArthur Foundation Genius Fellowship. Her early books explored what does it mean to be a human. They looked at power and oppression, human aggression, exactly what it might take to turn our angry human race into something else, something better. When interviews would ask her about this, Butler explained her view of humanity as inherently flawed by an innate tendency toward hierarchical thinking, which leads to intolerance and violence, and if not checked, the ultimate destruction of our species. And I thought about this in terms of things like our own Right to Read Festival that's coming up. Why are we doing so well? We're doing so well because we didn't jump up and say, we're going to lead this thing, we're in charge. We stood up calmly and said, walk with us. How can we walk together? How many want to join? What do you think? How shall we do this all together? I think Butler would have approved heartily. John Pfeiffer notes, in one sense, Butler's fables are trials of solutions to the self-destructive condition in which she finds mankind. Yes, she was finding all the problems of the world. She sees us with our zipper down and our hem showing, the runs in our stockings and our hair's all messed up. She saw it all. But she didn't just see that. She was trying out solutions. She was finding the hope and promise of human agency and human ingenuity, even in the face of destruction. Butler's books started to get popular again in 2016, especially The Parable of the Sower and The Parable of the Talents. Monica Coleman, who's a professor of Africana Studies at the University of Delaware and a minister in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, said it feels like actual prophecy. It feels like she really predicted this, and I think people are reading it now because she was writing about what happens if we don't change. And Monica wrote that in 2016. And Butler was writing about what happens if we don't change, but she was also writing about something else. Longtime fans and scholars hope the novel's new readers will also resonate with the protagonist's religion. It's a religion she created, Earthseed. The premise of the faith, presented in short lyrical verses throughout the book, is that God is change, and humans shape God through forethought and work. Ultimately, the heroine says, Earthseed's destiny is to take root among the stars. The first time I read these books, when I realized where she was going with this idea that there was not some kind of God up there telling us what to do, but there was some kind of us down here telling God what to be. It was an amazing idea. According to columnist Catherine Post, The Parable of the Sower didn't strike a chord with our current converging crises because of its insider religious references, scholars say, or even for its prophetic portrait of our times. Like Earthseed in any religion at its best, it lends hope at a time that has been demoralizing for many. And hope shouldn't be a passive stance, but definitely more active, said Reverend Janaea Renee Moore, a Methodist deacon and a doctoral candidate in African American and religious studies at Yale. Maybe Butler's language about shaping change and God points to the idea that we are agents of our own hope. What would Butler have made of the present political moment in the U.S.? I don't think she would have been surprised, scholar Tanisha Stanley says. She puts Butler's ability to envision our future down to a deep understanding of human nature. For Stanley, one lesson to take from Butler's work is hope. World building is huge in her canon, and so there is always hope that since we built this world, we can build another one. Butler saw possibilities, not stories set in stone. Again, what a you idea. Read her books, ask the what-if questions, and consider her words. Consider, she writes, we are born not with purpose, but with potential. She goes on to say, we can go on building and destroying until we either destroy ourselves or destroy the ability of our world to sustain us. Or we can make something more of ourselves. We can grow up. We can leave the nest. We can fulfill the destiny, make homes for ourselves among the stars, and become some combination of what we want to become and whatever our new environments challenge us to become. Our new worlds will remake us as we remake them, and some of the new people who emerge from all this will develop new ways to cope, because they'll have to. That will break the old cycle, even if it's only to begin a new one, a different one. It's about learning to live in partnership with one another in small communities, and at the same time working out a sustainable partnership with our environment. It's about treating education and adaptability as the absolute essentials that they are. It's about a lot more than that, but those are the bones, she writes. Octavia Butler focused her lens and gave us those bones and these stories. And that tall, lanky child who began writing as a means of escape ended up crafting potent calls to socio-political action that are even more pertinent now than ever in our survival as a species. And I can say this, the prophet has spoken, and the word she said was hope. Amen. This is from The Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler. Kindness eases change, love quiets fear, and a sweet and powerful positive obsession blunts pain, diverts rage, and engages each of us in the greatest and most intense of our chosen struggles. May we always carry kindness and love into the world. Our final hymn this morning is number 298, Wake Now My Senses. So please rise in body or spirit as you're willing and able, and join in number 298, verses 1 through 3. The service has ended and your service in the world begins again. May bravery and wisdom and kindness be with you always. Peace, ashe, and may it be so.